Resume building. Hello everyone, welcome to the Resume Building Workshop. My name is Taylor Saunier and I am a Nova Scotia Works School Liaison who currently works with high school students from grades 7 to 12. I am pleased to share some important information with you today, so let's get started. What is personal branding? Personal branding is the process by which we market ourselves to others. It is also known as self-marketing. Personal branding is building a powerful, clear, and positive idea that comes to mind when people think of you. It's what you stand for, your values, abilities, and actions. We do it each and every day through what we say, how we act, and yes, by what we wear. Before you can begin to market yourself, you should be aware of your own strengths and weaknesses. Start by reflecting on your distinct talents, skills, and academic or professional achievements. Your marketability is largely affected by how much you believe in your own qualifications and suitability for a job. In essence, good self-promotion starts with self-confidence. Why is personal branding important? Making a strong and favorable impression is important in furthering your career. The first impressions you make upon people at any stage of your life could have a lasting impact on how you launch or advance your career. Ideally, you want to make and maintain a positive personal brand or image. Ensure that you present yourself in a positive, consistent manner in all aspects of your life. This includes social media as well. Be mindful that what you post on social media is out there for anyone to see, including employers. Why have a resume? It's your marketing tool and the product you are marketing is you. It showcases your knowledge, skills, and experience and outlines the link between you and the job. And just remember, a good resume has the power to open doors. What is a resume? A resume is a 1 to 2 page document summarizing your work, volunteer experience, education, and skills. The purpose of the resume is to get you an interview. The resume should be written to suit your needs and the needs of the prospective employer. It should be accurate, descriptive, and easy to read. Your resume describes your qualifications and what makes you unique. To stand out among other applicants, you need a resume that markets your strengths and match for the job. A great resume grabs the attention of the employers and recruiters. Some resume tips. Your name should be the biggest thing on the page, and you should use a professional email account. For example, your first name, last name @gmail.com. You should select one of the following fonts, so Verdana, Calibri, Arial, or Times New Roman. Your resume shouldn't be any more than 2 pages in length. No spelling mistakes, and proofread. You don't want an employer to see mistakes on your resume. Arrange your categories in a way that makes sense, and use uppercase letters for your categories. Use the same header on your resume as you would for your cover letter and reference page. Choose your words carefully and be professional. Use dynamic action verbs to describe yourself. Save as a Word document on your computer or USB and send the employers a PDF version of these documents, unless otherwise instructed. Be aware of applicant tracking systems. Keep your resume up to date. Save it on a flash drive or a cloud, or you could even email it to yourself to have a safe keeping and easy access of it. Here are some action verbs to help give an idea of the type of language you should be using when describing your skills and strengths in a resume. I will give you a few seconds to read through them. Here are some do's and don'ts to keep in mind when building a resume. So what's in? Your name and contact information. You can choose to have an objective section on your resume, but that is optional. Profile summary or qualification section. Your education, work experience, accomplishments, awards, and of course, volunteer experience. What's not in a resume? Inappropriate email address, age, gender, marital status, SIN number, photo, physical description, reason last job was left, salary expectation, your availability, the words I and etc., references unless otherwise required. And remember, those are don'ts. Resume screening. Advertised positions usually get lots of applicants. Resumes must catch the eye of the employer in roughly 10 to 15 seconds. Resumes should be brief and targeted to the job. So here you see a sample of a resume. Feel free to take a picture of it so you can have it for future reference. So at the top of the page, you see that the name is in bold letters. So that'll be the first thing the employer notices. And you can choose to put your street address. That is optional. You want to give some contact information, so name and phone number. And then here they have the objective section. So just to help employers get an idea of who you are. And then you go into skills and abilities and try to add skills and abilities that are relevant to the job you're applying for. Then of course you want to add your education, work experience, and volunteer experience. And it's very important to put the newest qualifications or experience first. So reverse chronological order is preferred. And then just at the bottom of that page, you write references available upon request. Here are a few questions to ask yourself when building your resume to reassure you submit the best version of your resume. Is my resume easy to read? Is my resume tailored to the job position? Is my resume visually appealing? Is it accurate and up to date? And you may also want to ask yourself if you are selling your strongest skills and accomplishments. Okay, now it's time to submit your resume. How? We will go through the important steps to consider when submitting your resume to an employer. Submitting your resume. Submit cover letter with resume unless otherwise specified. High school students employers aren't really expecting students to submit a cover letter, but on the other hand, it does look good and professional. Follow employers' preferred submission format, so in person, email, or on an online format. If submitting online, ensure formatting isn't lost. So this is why it's really good to submit any documents in PDF. Check the resume version you sent to each employer. Dress appropriately if applying in person. Dressing appropriately is very important. If you're presenting your resume to an employer in person, first impressions can make or break a job opportunity. Submitting your resume by email. Follow the directions in the job posting. Use a commonly accepted file format such as Microsoft Word or Adobe PDF. The subject line of the email message should include the position you are applying for. Try sending it to yourself to ensure the format is not lost. Again, this is why it's safer to put it in PDF. And again, have an appropriate email address. So again, your first name, last name @gmail.com. And sometimes people are unsure what to put in the body of the email. So you can just put a little salutation, the position you are applying for, and then you can just say that they can see the attached documents. Okay, so we will now take a look at references and reference page format. A word about references. Always ask permission and keep them informed about your job search. Ask your reference how they would want to be contacted, by phone, email, or maybe both. It's not only asking them to be a reference for you, but whether they will be a good reference for you. Will they be able to speak positively about you? Some people will agree to be a reference, but not necessarily speak highly of you. It is best to ask your potential reference what they would say. Choose appropriate references. Choose people you know will speak highly about you and get their permission. For example, you want teachers, coaches, or people you have worked for, including volunteer experience or even someone that you've volunteered with. Keep in touch with your reference so they know what jobs you have applied for. Please avoid friends and family as references. Give your reference a current copy of your resume to review. The reference list is a separate document usually given to an employer at the time of the interview. Or if it's a phone call interview, they will ask you to email your reference list. Okay, so here's a sample of a reference page, and as you may notice, it is the same format as the resume. So if you want to take a picture, go right ahead. So the in bold name, street address, that's optional, but please keep the same format for both, and your contact information. So you'll see here that there's 3 references. 3 references is usually the standard amount of references employers are looking for, unless otherwise specified. So you want to give their name, preferred contact, way to contact them, what they were to you, and where they work. As previously mentioned, I work for an organization called Nova Scotia Works. There are offices all over the province who help people find and maintain employment. If you have a youth or yourself who is interested in receiving assistance from one of our Nova Scotia Works staff, follow the link to find a center closest to you. It should also be noted that youth are able to be serviced who are within 3 months of graduation from high school or have impending plans to drop out of the high school system. This is, of course, not a situation that we hope for, but certainly we want to be aware, but we want to give people the options. That brings us to the end of this webinar on resume building. Keep an eye out for posters on our upcoming webinars, which you can find on our Nova Scotia Works Facebook pages. We would love to have you join our future webinars. If you do have any questions that you would like to discuss, feel free to send me an email at tsaulier, SAULNIER, at cdene.ns.ca. Thank you.